What if I told you the biggest opportunity of your life hasn't happened yet? Not because it doesn't exist, but because you simply haven't met the right person yet. Think about that for a moment. The next client, the next investor, the next mentor, the next business partner, the next employee, the next career opportunity, it may already exist. The only thing separating you is one conversation. Good morning, Bulls. I'm Donald Johns, and welcome to another edition of Networking Thursday right here on the Unbearably Bullish podcast, the official podcast of the Bull You Can't Bear, where relationships create opportunities and opportunities create success. Let's get connected. People always ask me all the time, Donald, after spending more than 2 decades in financial services, as a matter of fact, I'm coming up on 25 years, what has been the greatest investment you've ever made? Some expect me to say a stock, an ETF, a business, a piece of real estate, but my answer usually surprises them. The greatest investment I've ever made has been relationships. Not because every relationship led to business, but because every meaningful opportunity in my career began with people. Someone introduced me to someone opened a door, someone believed in me, someone gave me an opportunity, and over time, those conversations became friendships. Those friendships became partnerships. Those partnerships created opportunities. And that's why today's episode isn't about collecting business cards. It isn't about perfecting an elevator pitch. It's about building relationships that stand the test of time, because relationships open doors. People won't remember every word you say, but they'll remember how you made them feel. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing networking begins when they need something. The truth? Networking begins long before that. It begins with curiosity, listening, learning, being genuinely interested in other people. When you meet someone, don't immediately think, what can they do for me? Instead, ask, what are they passionate about? What are they building? What challenges are they trying to solve? How can I help? Because the fastest way to build trust isn't talking, it's listening. The people who ask the best questions usually build the strongest relationships. One word has shaped much of my career: collaboration. I don't believe collaboration is the opposite of competition. I believe collaboration creates opportunities that competition never will. I mean, think about it. A CPA and an estate planning attorney, a financial advisor and a business owner, a real estate professional and a mortgage lender, an insurance professional and an HR consultant, a podcast host and an entrepreneur. None of these people have to compete. Together, they create more value. And when everybody creates more value, everybody grows. Here's a question I would like you to think about this week. Who could you collaborate with that would help you better serve the people that you work with? Sometimes one introduction changes everything. I've spent more than 2 decades in financial services, and I've learned something that no textbook could ever teach me. I've been fortunate to build relationships with investors, entrepreneurs, business owners, professionals through some of the most historic financial events of our generation. Each one taught me something. Each one shaped my career, and each one reinforced one powerful lesson: relationships matter most when uncertainty is the greatest. Let's take a walk through some of those defining moments, not a history lesson, but as lessons that help shape my perspective. Let's go to the dot-com bust. At the turn of the century, technology stocks captured everyone's attention. Many believed prices could only continue rising. When the bubble burst, it reminded us that excitement almost doesn't determine value. For me, it reinforced the importance of discipline. Don't chase headlines, don't chase hype. Stay focused on understanding what you're investing in. September 11th, 2001. Then came one of the darkest days in American history. The markets closed, businesses paused, families came together. Suddenly, portfolios weren't the most important thing. People were. That experience reminded me that while markets recover, human relationships deserve our attention every single day. And it changed how I looked at business forever. Enron. Enron was once considered one of the most admired companies in America. Its collapse reminded the financial world that trust, transparency, and ethical leadership matter. One lesson stayed with me from that event. Never confuse popularity with quality. Integrity will always matter more than reputation alone. WorldCom. Not long afterward, WorldCom became another reminder that strong financial statements must be supported by honest leadership. Trust takes years to earn and moments to lose. That lesson applies to investing and to every relationship we build. Now, when I look back on those early years of my career, I don't remember the charts first. I remember the conversations, the people asking questions, the families looking for guidance, the professionals leaning on one another. Those relationships shaped my career far more than any headline ever did. Because these weren't market events. They were life lessons, lessons that changed how I approached business, clients, relationships, and leadership. Then there was Bear Stearns. I'm sure you all recall in 2008, the financial world watched as Bear Stearns experienced a crisis that shook confidence across the financial system. For many people, it was the first sign that something much larger was unfolding. The lesson? Everything is connected. Banks, businesses, consumers, investors, confidence, relationships. One event can ripple through an entire economy. As advisors and professionals, we learned that communication becomes even more important during uncertainty. Sometimes people don't need all the answers. They simply need someone who will answer the phone. Then there was the global financial crisis. This was one of the most difficult periods of my career, the global financial crisis. Markets declined dramatically. Businesses struggled, families worried, retirement accounts lost value. Fear dominated the headlines. I'll never forget the conversations. People weren't calling because they wanted stock tips. They were calling because they wanted reassurance. They wanted honesty, perspective, someone to explain what was happening. That experience taught me something I'll never forget. People may forget your presentation, they may forget your charts, but they'll always remember how you treated them during difficult times. That's powerful. Trust isn't built when everything is going well. Trust is built when things become difficult. It's a good lesson for a lot of people to learn. Quantitative easing. This was a big one. As markets recovered, the Federal Reserve introduced extraordinary measures designed to support the economy and improve financial conditions. Whether people agreed with those policies or not, one lesson became very clear. The financial world continues to evolve. Successful professionals never stop learning. Markets change, policies change, technology changes. The people who stay curious stay relevant. Then there was the flash crash. In a matter of minutes, markets experienced a dramatic decline before recovering. It was wild. It reminded everybody that markets can move incredibly fast, but it also reinforced another important lesson. Never allow minutes of volatility to dictate decades of planning. Emotional decisions often become expensive decisions. Preparation, discipline, perspective, these become incredibly valuable during moments of uncertainty. Fast forward to COVID-19, then the world changed again, almost overnight. Businesses closed, entire industries adapted, families adjusted, remote work became the norm, technology accelerated, markets experienced extraordinary volatility. One of the biggest lessons I learned during that period was adaptability. The businesses that adapted survived. Many that embraced change found new opportunities. Relationships became even more important because people found new ways to stay connected despite being physically apart. It reminded me business has always been about people. Technology simply gives us new ways to connect. The AI revolution today, we're living through another transformational period. Artificial intelligence, automation, digital transformation, technology is changing how business operates, how professionals communicate, how entrepreneurs build companies, and how investors analyze information. Every generation experiences defining innovations. This may very well be ours. Some people see uncertainty, others see opportunity. I believe the future belongs to people who continue learning, who stay curious, who embrace change without abandoning critical thinking. Technology will continue evolving, but relationships, integrity, trust, those values, they're never going to go out of style. People ask me, Donald, after experiencing all of those market cycles, what's the greatest investment you ever made? My answer has never changed. It wasn't a stock. It wasn't an ETF. It wasn't a mutual fund. It wasn't real estate. It wasn't a business. It was relationships, because every meaningful opportunity in my career started with a conversation. Someone introduced me to someone else. Someone opened a door. Someone believed in me. Someone gave me an opportunity. And over time, those conversations became friendships. Those friendships became partnerships. Those partnerships became businesses. And those businesses became careers. That's why I truly believe your network is your net worth, not because every relationship creates business, but because every meaningful relationship has the potential to change your life. Now, let's do the opportunity of the week. Stop trying to impress people. Start becoming interested in people. One of the biggest mistakes I see professionals make is trying to deliver the perfect elevator pitch. The truth is, people don't remember great pitches. They remember great conversations. The next time you attend a networking event, try asking questions instead of introducing yourself first. Ask, what inspired you to start your business? What are you most excited about this year? What challenge are you trying to solve? What does success look like for you? You'll be amazed how quickly meaningful conversations begin. People appreciate those who listen, and the strongest relationships are built on genuine curiosity, not rehearsed sales pitches. So, how do we take those lessons and put them into practice? Let's head into the bullpen, where we'll talk about building strategic professional relationships that create value for everyone involved. Your greatest referral partner may be in an industry completely different from your own. One of the biggest misconceptions about networking is believing you should only connect with people in your own profession. I couldn't disagree more. Some of the strongest opportunities I've experienced throughout my career came from relationships outside my immediate industry. Think about it. A CPA, an estate planning attorney, a financial advisor, an insurance professional, a commercial banker, a real estate professional, a business coach, a marketing consultant, an HR professional. Each brings different expertise to the table, but together they create something much bigger. They create solutions. When professionals collaborate, clients often receive better service. Businesses become stronger, communities become stronger, and everyone wins. Here's a question I'd like to ask you to ask yourself today. Who serves the same people you serve, but in a different way? Those are often the relationships that create the greatest long-term opportunities. Now let's talk about the relationship ROI, or return on investment. The greatest return on investment I've ever experienced never appeared on a brokerage statement. When people hear the letters ROI, they usually think return on investment, money, performance, numbers. But today, I'd like you to challenge you to think differently. What's the return on one mentor, one introduction, one recommendation, one conversation, one handshake, one friendship? I mean, think about your own life. Who gave you your first opportunity? Who encouraged you when you doubted yourself? Who introduced you to somebody that changed your career? Who believed in you before anyone else did? Those moments don't appear on financial statements, yet they may become some of the most valuable investments you'll ever receive. Relationships compound, trust compounds, reputation compounds, generosity compounds. The greatest returns often arrive when you stop measuring everything in dollars and start measuring it in impact. Let's do the community connection. One of my dreams for this podcast is to build more than an audience. I want to build a community, a place where entrepreneurs, business owners, professionals, investors, creators, and future leaders can actually connect with one another. So here's today's challenge. Drop a comment and tell us where you're from, what industry you're in, what you're building, what you're looking for, and one way you can help somebody else. Because here's what I believe. The comments section shouldn't be a place to leave opinions. It can become a place where opportunities begins. Who knows, the next partnership, the next client, the next mentor, or the next breakthrough may start with one comment. So let's build this community together. Now we're going to move forward and do the Bullish Challenge. One conversation this week could change the next 10 years of your life. Here's your challenge. Reach out to one person that you haven't spoke with in at least 6 months. No sales pitch, no hidden agenda, no expectation. Simply reconnect. Ask how they're doing. Congratulate them on something that they have accomplished. Offer encouragement, offer help. Sometimes the strongest relationships aren't built by asking, they're built by giving. You never know where one genuine conversation might lead you. We're going to do the Bull's bottom line here. And as we close today's episode, I'd like to leave you with one final thought. I've lived through bull markets, bear markets, technology booms, financial crises, corporate scandals, historic recoveries, a global pandemic, and now the rise of artificial intelligence. Markets have changed. Technology has changed. The economy has changed. The world has changed. But one thing has remained remarkably consistent: people, relationships, trust, character, integrity. The opportunities that shaped my career didn't begin with a chart. They didn't begin with a headline. They began with people, someone opening a door, someone making an introduction, somebody believing in me. And I hope as you continue building your own career, you remember this: never underestimate the power of one conversation, one introduction, one relationship, because your greatest opportunity may not be waiting in tomorrow's market. It may be waiting in tomorrow's conversation. Tomorrow, we're going to do Future Forward Friday. We're shifting our focus to the future. We'll explore the innovations, technologies, and trends shaping business, investing, and everyday life, artificial intelligence, automation, emerging technologies, and how preparing today may help position you for tomorrow. The future belongs to those who continue learning, and I hope that you will join me. I have to put in the disclaimer: the opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and are provided for educational and informational purposes only. Discussions of business, investing, networking, and professional development are general in nature and should not be considered individualized financial, legal, tax, or business advice. Every situation is unique, and listeners should consult qualified professionals regarding their specific circumstances. Whew, love that. This is more than a podcast. It's a community built on learning, on trust, on opportunity, on collaboration, on relationships, because relationships open doors. This is the Bull You Can't Bear. This is the Unbearably Bullish podcast. Remember, strong markets, stronger mindset, unlimited opportunity. Let's connect, collaborate, build, grow, monetize, follow and join the herd. And remember, success isn't always measured by the deals you close. Sometimes it's measured by the lives you impact. The next handshake, the next introduction, the next conversation could become the beginning of something extraordinary. Until the next time, keep building relationships, keep creating value, keep opening doors for others, and always stay unbearably bullish. We love all of you. We appreciate all the support. Have a wonderful Thursday, and I appreciate you. Thank you so much.